Right? Welcome. It is session one, my friends, of a brand new campaign here as we get to explore and go forth into the wilds of Isira. And we have quite an adventure and quite a set of characters as well that you will get to meet as we push on through. And if you are a ring on the channel, you would know this, but there are many, many ways you can help our people out by spending those sweet, sweet, sweet channel points that you've accrued and putting those into the chat and help everybody get their stuff done today. So, not much else with that other than we are ready to begin this time of fun, and we'll get to meet everybody as we do so. With that, the continent of Isira has long been divided, cut in half by a mountain pass. The very gods focused worship area of Athansia is the most well known. Its tendrils reaching out from Vasselheim, making all the tribes and peoples who live in small villages and hunting parties that cannot realistically live or afford to live within Vasselheim's protected walls bow their head to the worship of the gods. The forces of nature spirits, beings from Fae, and elemental powers are usually sought out and killed, most fervently by an organization known as the Slayer's Take, that often kills these creatures that bring power to those who do not have a connection to gods. However, because of the vast mountains to the west, they are cut off from these actions. And between two rising mountains, there is a lush and fertile land where life has continued much more like one could see during the founding of Exandria itself. Wild elementals, creatures that have combined the biological with the spirit. Planes themselves have found many, many thin points here. Beings crossover are mutated, and while Vasselheim would say corrupted, the people here would always say gifted by what lies deep within the mountains or on top, or some say even still soaring in the skies, are ruins of giant civilization, and maybe some ones that are still ongoing. The skies themselves are very dangerous here. No sky ships dare, for the mighty Ithajar, almost kite-like lizards, go through the clouds and keep it free from those that do not belong. Now, it is in this land that our story is set. For because of the way of life here, Civilizations of humanoids are scarce, but also temporary, often being destroyed, people being forced to flee in the middle of the night or hide and allow what they worked hard to build to be consumed back into the wilderness of Asera. Families are lost, but then new families are begun. And that very term, family, has come to mean a whole nother thing to the people here. It is of a bond not of blood, but of choice and survival. And a clan and a village is when the families come together to mutually help one another. And in all of this, there is a place high within the mountains themselves, if one would travel that way. Hidden from Skyship by the Ithjar, and mostly simply the perils of the mountain to anyone else, except that which would have more means. And the ones who dwell here, some have come, some have been brought, some nearly just fell here through strange circumstance. Everyone has a unique story, but what is entirely true is that they've come together and now choose this life that they find here. And this place, overlooked by a skull of Dracanic origin, it itself stretches nearly a mile wide at its crest. Its horns soar up thousands of feet. And one can see the beginnings of its bones worked into the stone itself. In this valley, rivers flow, and lakes and ponds. It is rife with fish, but also surrounded by thick forest. And the dangers there are many. And underneath the watchful eye of the perished dragon is the village of Skosval. Their leader, Verathex, a woman of immense druidic prowess, leads everyone here. She's also often responsible for finding those who she deems worthy to come. And her connection with the powers of nature has gifted her with a long, long life. Though the signs of age now show on her, she has been the leader here for hundreds of years. And many hope in the dark night that her connection to the valley stays strong. Now, today is a day of great anticipation, for it is when the hunters return. They bring back what they have gathered over the long months to sustain the people here. and all types of preservation and storing of both it and various harvests come in for the long, long winter that is ever present and is promised, that some say are brought by the Ithjar itself. Varathax herself says it is Isiro's way to keep this village from being all it can be, from expanding too far. And the horns ring from the forest. And many a spouse, male and female and other, stand waiting, hoping that when the party breaks the tree line, they will see their loved ones, that children will see their parents. And so the village comes and gathers here. And all goes smiles as drums and flutes ring out from the hunting party, indicating very specifically that none have been killed in this month's hunt. And there are cheers and celebrations already. Some have packed this colored powder or soil that they put in long horns and blow out to answer, so that there are just bursts of color in the sky. And there are oohs and ahs as an enormous creature is drug out of the woods. Their skin itself seems to have been touched by the elements. Runes of great power suffuse their way from their blood through their skin and shine through. You can see it has 4 legs with 2 kind of smaller arms, somewhat T-Rex like, with large teeth, reptilian eyes that at one time burned red. And the children gasp and even shiver a bit at what has been brought to them. For this creature is known as the Varunaskrib, a thing that heralds thunder and lightning, hunts, and is one of the many reasons one does not venture alone into the forests, lest it get your scent. And even if you make it back to the village, it comes and brings awful fortune to you and your families. But now the celebration is high and mighty, and people are bringing out large boats. They're bringing out wagons and skiffs, large cutting utensils, everything you can imagine here. Even almost portable forges are being brought out to indicate that it is time for the harvest. This time when they begin chopping up their meat, a lot of the fish that have been brought aside come out here as well. And it is a time festival in its attitude, but one full of working, even if a little bit of ways to give the most fun jobs and entertaining ones to the children who are so eager to help. And it is in with this that our players are going to go ahead and introduce their characters, what they might be doing at this grand event, so we can get a taste of them. So whoever would like to go first, I leave this to you.
Happy to jump in first. So Brynja Ulfwin Jorlis is at the front of the procession, leading this dinosaur mess forward, almost like a victorious conqueror. And the odd thing about her, maybe she's not aware of this, maybe she is aware of this. This is a lithe, little, thin, maybe 19-year-old looking druid. She's absolutely covered in blood. And the weird part is she's got blood dripping from where her mouth is, her jowls, as well as like down her arms. Like just a minute ago, she was ripping into this poor thing. And she kind of like waves to the crowd as she walks through and says, "It gave good fight."
Brynja, here, just, and I pass you just like a cloth. You've got remains still all over you.
It doesn't smell yet. It's fine. It's a little coppery. It's good. I can clean later. This is celebration time.
Renariel is an elf, well, half elf, though he has much more elven features than human. Much sharper ears than is usual for a half elf, in a clearly custom apron with just a bunch of different knives strapped around him, looking like he's ready to butcher this thing. Beneath the apron is quite a colorful shirt, and on the back is just this very intricately designed like leech or lamprey with like a leech mouth. I suppose you could wait until it starts to smell, but I've never understood why you need that as the indicator to clean up. But
I know the spell. I just don't care.
Oh, okay. You know, even
there's a lake. I will jump in lake. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay. I'm assuming you want dark meat as usual.
Yes, and organ meat too. We need to keep our strength up. Yes.
Okay. And I will just start carving out Brynja's preferred cuts.
At this point, Layla walks by, having gathered a ginormous basket full of various herbs and stuff that will be used in the cooking process later. She takes some particularly fruitful bunches of sage and rosemary and stuff and kind of sticks them at Brynja's hair to cover the smell a little bit.
Is it decoration or is it bad?
It's for the smell.
You'll never carry that smell in the house. In the house, you never clean. You barely even touch anything. You don't eat much. Like why is that thing?
That's why I grow it around the house.
So I smell it.
So we don't.
Concerns.
Pardon me, Brynja, and I just take some of the sage and start chopping it and mixing it on.
Rosemary also delicious with meat.
Yes.
So Layla appears to be a human. She's got these intricate tattoo/markings on her face, and kind of covering her body. Fairly pale looking, but dark black, midnight black hair, and eyes that seem to almost glow like the night sky. As she goes and drops off her big bundle of herbs and wild mushrooms and various other plants and stuff around the village.
You start to see an extraordinary presence run up, looking and scouting out, trying to find Ren. He would be what most would say Goliath, a humanoid with giant kin, and he's smaller than his kin. He possesses a softer countenance distinguished by the rounded features that belie the ruggedness of associated Goliath. He is adorned with intricate red tattoos resembling sickles symmetrically gracing both sides of his broad forehead down to his chin, marking him as a spiritual figure significance within his tribe. He's running and trying to look out. Ren. He might see him peek up, and once he does, Ren, you might need this. And he goes over and he takes his staff before him, and on top of it, it's crowned with a jewel that is a crimson, but it swirls as if its inner core is liquid, and it seeps slightly. And Azariah takes his finger, his thumb actually, and wipes it, puts it across Ren's forehead. Just let me know if you need anything. I'll be right over here. I'm going to check out some of these runes on this base. Try not to cut it too much before I get there.
Oh yeah, no problem, Azariah.
And so Azariah Stormboom leaves, and he goes to check some of these runes. And he blood bonds with Ren, giving him some temporary health points, but most importantly, allowing him to telepathically speak to him so he can help with the logistics of moving some of the bigger pieces once he gets them cut.
So Torhilda would be walking along with the group of the hunting party, a little bit towards the back and then coming forward. And what you see is a very tall, muscular woman with flowing red hair that flows into dreadlocks. And each of the dreadlocks has some sort of silver band or some silver wiring around it. She's got a leather cord with a little bit of silver work around her forehead that kind of holds her hair in place. And you see a number of tattoos on her face, around her eyes and on her forehead. And her face is splattered with blood, although it looks like maybe she wasn't right up in the fray, but she did get some of the spray. A lot of furs around over her armor. She's wearing a fur cloak around her armor. She's carrying a gleaming battle axe. And a shield, and she would, walk along amiably and say, "Hey, save me 3 teeth, an eyeball, a claw, and a piece of the tail, please," and ask for those pieces, and try to start helping and overseeing the harvesting of those pieces, working with the villagers. And then you would see her stop and just pause for a moment, and you see her eyes roll back in her head, and she goes kind of photo black for a minute, and the wind kicks up, and those villagers who are kind of nearby might pause and look to her, kind of having seen this before, and you hear her voice boom out, but it's a whisper, and yet it booms. And as her eyes roll back in her head, she says, "As the beast's carcass is brought to light, a village rejoices in the fading night, but shadows whisper of a darker plight, a warning hidden from mortal sight. So feast and revel, but heed this call, for shadows linger, awaiting their fall." And then everything stops, and she just carries on like nothing happened.
Bormunder has been lingering towards the back of the villagers. He joined briefly with a smile as the music signaling the return of the hunting party with no one damaged played out. But he feels obliged still to count each member of the hunting party as they come in, and to ensure himself that, in fact, the party is intact and everyone has returned safely. He's got the appearance of a humanoid dragon, a dragonborn, as they are sometimes known to outsiders. A fierce expression, always seeming to be lost in some sort of dire thoughts. By profession, a shield of the village, focused on protecting and feeling finally a sense of belonging and a role that he feels suited to. He approaches Brynja, who he perceives as a leader of the hunters, and clasps him on the shoulder. Well done, my friend. I am pleased that you have brought everyone back safely. An excellent mission.
Boromander, you are worried again, yes?
You know, some must worry. It is an important role.
You are, yes, key position for defense. But we must go out into the wilds to find these things. We must confront them where they are. This will always happen.
I agree, and I am pleased that you have done so successfully. The village is right to celebrate your accomplishments. With that, Boromander, uncomfortable at having spoken for so long, wanders over, gently carves one of the small claws off of the Varuma scrib and starts to pick the sinew from between the claws and returns to a seat on the edge of the village, still keeping an eye out lest perhaps someone followed the hunting party planning evil, and permits himself a brief smile as he begins to chew on the gristly flesh.
Nala, who was really just kind of lost in a book, hears the music signaling that the hunting party has returned and would immediately have gone to the window to smile as she saw this beast being brought back, and would have immediately run out of the library and been inundating several questions of, what was it? How was it? What happened? Who did the final blow? And then immediately realizes this is her opportunity, and she goes to the center of the town village where the festivities will no doubt begin, as she sees this as the perfect opportunity to premiere her harp playing. And she knows that she can really make a few coin here, so she finally convinces the others to let her play, and so she takes the harp and sets it out on the smooth surface of a makeshift stage out in the back, and would have been strumming the harp as the party began to come in. Even as Boromander comes in, there would have been some rendition of a Dragonborn Comes or something. And as the rest of the party is just kind of gathering and the villagers are entering, she would have been playing this melodic tune, and also handing out flyers and handing out these little pamphlets of when her next event will be, and several other things besides, as she begins to write and improv a bit the story of the great hunt.
Excellent. And all this is, of course, overseen by Varathix, and she stands, and there is no salute that happens here. Some acknowledge her, but no one makes a way. She is as very much in all of her overseeing of this place, viewed herself as one of many that are here, even though her place and her word carry immense weight. And her appearance itself communicates this in a way, as there are her cloak that she wears seems to at once have been possibly made of animal skin as its main thing, a leather of some type. But over time, it has accumulated teeth that have hung over it, and now hundreds of teeth now dangle, giving it the impression of almost this armored cloak that comes off of her as she approaches, waiting to receive one of the teeth that is traditionally presented to her for it.
Sorry, just that's funny. Instinctually, when just describing her, even before saying this teeth, I was thinking that Azariah was going to find and look in the mouth and find the biggest tooth and present it to the elder Ruraxith.
Absolutely. Give me a quick survival check then.
Oh, I will do that. It's not bad. 18.
18. Absolutely. Are you grabbing or able to pull it up, and your sense of this creature is enough where normally some settled blood might spurt or come out when you try to pull this out, you discern immediately that it is more like molten rock that is beneath this that seems to run through, and you pull it out and are able to move out quick enough so when it comes, it burns not the hide but the ground around, but not yourself, as you avoid this issue and are able to present. And even as you take it out, it still has this slight orange glow, though it is not hot to the touch. It seems to possess elemental connection.
I would actually not even walk it over to her. I would take it with my mage hand out of my hand and have it float over to her.
Absolutely. She smiles. Thank you, Azariah.
Correct.
You do proud all that are here. She speaks with this strangled voice, as many catch her to, and you've seen this, she tends to talk to animals a lot and uses the tongue of people very little, except for kind of big events like this. And so it's a very struggle for her, it seems. When people ask her about it, she always tells them it's a good story sometime and never really has revealed it. In hundreds of years is the legend around her. And she gives a short bow as she begins to attach it so she takes it and finds a spot as she begins making room for it and says, she goes, good, and then holds it up. She goes, as we harvest this, may it provide all we need. Today, let children laugh while we harvest. Make it fun. Joy today. For hardship comes with winter, and it approaches. And she lets out a clap, and as she does, thunder rings out, and this is a signal for all things alcoholic to be brought out into this place, and other substances one could do other things with, and it's just everywhere as people are coming in. Different pieces of fish that have been harvested, as well as food and all types of things to provide for the work. And she takes a few steps back as she puts out her hand, and stone rises up from the ground and creates a perfect pedestal for the tooth to rest upon. This goes, and she speaks to it. Watch us as we celebrate, as we have our joy and our work, and then protect our people and sustain. And so it is with that everything truly begins here. And so with that, you've all kind of described what you're sort of doing here, but how do you fully see you providing for the celebration, providing for the harvesting? One thing you do know is this has all happened basically in the morning, and tonight is the time when the village ascends the mountain and the skeleton that overlooks, and a gift of thanks is given to the skeleton of the dragon. And it is put into the mouth, and the whole village comes up, and it's a very important piece, and it is more of a solemn affair. And that is why today is filled with so much joy and whatnot, because the night carries a certain solemnity to it. And I'll give you a chance to get into any shenanigans and whatnot, and we'll have some harvesting fun.
I definitely separate all the pieces for Torhilda and present those to her. And I feel like the offering that Renario normally makes in regards to whenever he's the carver is that he separates the heart out for the dragon skeleton, no matter the size of the beast. Whatever we happen to bring in that month, that's what's if I'm the carver, that's what I put up for offering from the village type deal.
Oh, you said the heart?
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice.
Also, Jonathan, sorry, you get 14 temporary hit points. I don't know if you'll need it, but there you go.
Noted.
Well,
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Wenrael. Yes, all the teeth and the eyeball. And Torhilda will also make sure to secure some of the entrails for the offering.
Mm-hmm.
And she is busy, before that time, she's busy crafting all of the little odd bits that she will use in the future.
Very nice. As you tear out the heart then and get it, it is roughly about 100 pounds as fully taken out. And it kind of plops down, and the ground around it smokes, as this does seem to be giving off a fair amount of heat. And people brought out very thick leathers to even handle it, as it tends to be burning the skin.
Yeah, that's me. I make the leathers.
Yeah. So
Though I do mentally reach out to Azariah, excuse me, and I'm like, yeah, I could use the.
I knowing that I'm okay strong, but I was never the strongest in my family out of my brothers, nor out of my twin sister. I look at a group of burly men and I try to escort them and direct them over to Ren. Over here, gentlemen, over here. And I point them over to Ren so they can start moving some of the bigger pieces while I get into the intricacies of the runes on the beast to start writing into some of the stones that I have as the rune carver of the village. I start to examine these and put down my shield that is also adorned with plentiful of gems and runes itself.
Absolutely. Give me an Arcana check.
Sure. I'm gonna take an inspiration and use it. Why not? I got a decent Arcana, but ooh, I like this. All right, that's gonna be a 25.
Okay. With a 25. And again, as this harvesting is happening, this is a little bit of race against time as well, as the skin is getting looser and pieces being carved off, some of that is being taken away. But because it is like a everything all at once type of deal. It is tradition. This is all done before sunset, and so everyone's very much into it. And so, with a 25, you are able to gain the rune of essence absorption that you have not seen before.
That's right. Holds it up and this is marvelous. Do you see this, Ren? This is great. I've never seen this before. And I start to carve it into the rune there, and start showing him as I start to complete it. And once I end up getting the final inch, it starts to glow. And probably something that when a chromatic and when I start to move it, it almost changes color type deal.
Oh, perfect. Love it. And from what you can tell, because as you examine it, it seems to absorb the elemental energy around it at a great rate, continually, and that's what gives it like its kind of glow there, as you described, of energy.
It taking a lot of different elements at a great rate. I would love to see it at work.
Like, right now, I can create water for you if you want.
No. I appreciate it, Renya, but no, thank you.
We could always join the next hunt.
I way too much time at home, but maybe next time. Ren.
You will be welcome if you don't fall behind.
I fall behind. Do you see me?
Brenya, that's not fair. You shape change a lot, and so of course you outpace us.
I have more legs. It's just different legs every time.
I don't know, Brenya. You're a fine specimen, surely, but I prefer to stay at home and study when I can.
That is fair. You seem like too lazy for endurance, Hunter.
Not too lazy, just my passion is and my focus is elsewhere.
As you wish.
While it's speaking of focus and trying to stay as upright as I can. I rub my eyes and grab something that's on the side of my belt, and it looks like a coffee press, as some might know as a French press. And he takes it out and shapes water out of his pouch to then warm up some water and some grounds that he has in another pouch, and lets it get to a good temperature, and he waits, puts that on a table nearby. Can you remind me about that? I'll try to remember, I swear.
Under her breath, Brenya mutters, "Or you could just chew the beans."
I actually like to enjoy my liquid, Brenya. And waiting after doing the rune, that's actually what he'll be doing, is just waiting and watching for like 3 or 4 minutes so he can drink that brew. He brings out a cup that looks like enamel, and it's like a maroon enamel type, and it says 1 part caffeine, 2 parts magic.
Amazing. All right. And and so I think right here the focus right now is tearing this up, and there is more of probably a little later, but and there's other things to a lot of the things from the forest are being brought in, a few crops and fish, so there are many things to be done with the work here. There's, to continue with everybody else.
Bormunder has circled the village and satisfied himself that there remain at least a few guards and that the people are going to be perfectly safe at this party. And he spends some time sitting and watching Azaria convert the rune, and he thinks about whether this is a divine process or a magical process. And as he contemplates, sort of gets a headache, can't really make a lot of sense out of it, and decides that perhaps some ale might be called for, and finds himself the beverages that have been set out, and decides that perhaps that's not a problem to be tackled today, and starts to relax a bit, enjoy his ale, looks to see if anyone needs help in cutting. He suggests that it's always good to put a bone from the very tip and a bone from the very tail of the animal in your offering, that will make it complete.
All right. And and people kind of move and go, it's Bormunder, as they begin cutting and carving correctly. There is a massive amount of salt. Well, grab a salt barrel to you. And the one sort of leading some of this has kind of taken charge is Zavan, who is kind of just... He's one of like the proverbial sticks in the mud, hates the joy side of things, always loves the work side of things, and wants everyone is very much upon like going over to the kids who are already like have taken some of the feet and are going like, look, it's going to get you, ah, ha, ha! Chasing each other with some bits that have fallen off, and throwing a bag of salt at their chest. Now carry over now, and trying to bring a sense to it. Others kind of laugh at him, and the kids look for help, and a lot of the adults don't give any help whatsoever. They're like, no, you should probably just do it. And this is continuing. Bormunder, I appreciate your words, would appreciate those arms more.
I stepped to and help with the carving, but I noticed a bit of liver has gotten loose and I secret little tip of liver on my finger and rub it behind the ear of one of the more boisterous of the small children as we pass.
Amazing.
And try to assist with the butchering. I enjoy the physical labor of it. Kind of get into a dagger, the feel of it dragging across the hide and the separating of the fibers, and it feels like honest work. It's pleasing.
Torhilda will be, after she will have gotten the pieces that she was interested in and the entrails for the offering, she will have gone and brewed some tea, and she will be passing out tea that she will have flavored with, different little peppermint here, little. She's giving out little energy shots, little tea, little peppermint, little. She might ask Azaria for a little bit of his luscious drink, flavor it with a little vanilla or a little caramel, little citrus. Passing out little shots for everybody, and then to help them keep their energy up, and then also helping herself. But she's got some hand axes, so she's doing some of the rough work, and then. Anybody that has a bone or something that they might want a little decorative inscription on, or a little decoration on as a keepsake, she would be doing that. A little face painting, a little of everything.
Yeah. And so I imagine as you are doing this and moving through around, the children here, the very young ones, are kind of have a thing going of grabbing a piece of this, and has been passed down to the different generations of grabbing either a bit of bone or skin, here something that's a little sturdy from the kill to bring to you to get some type of prophecy told over them. And they kind of go, no, you go. She might say doom the whole life. You'll be horrible. And you won't be able, none of us will ever play with you again. As they are just kind of jabbing, daring each other to be the first to go forward in this manner. And then there's the slightly older ones who have been bitten by the love bugs, one could say, who kind of go up and they will go up and try to take little slivers of heart, to just the tiniest type, to bring over to try to supposedly get relationship advice, more or less, from it, to have that type of scene. So I feel like as you're doing this and passing out, people, they're grabbing this, and the adults are laughing, though a few, if we paid close attention, might be kind of very on the down low, grabbing pieces to come to you on another day with the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And when they come to her, she will wave her hand over them and clean them up. So they're walking away with a clean bone. And, put a little inscription on it to memorialize their little prophecies.
Very nice.
But a prophecy is private between prophetess and the receiver for a personal prophecy.
I have to say. So one of the traditions here is a little bit of a messing with the kids. Like there's always something everyone does in the different moments, either to teach them to work or to try and impart on something. So I'll give them if you need to, but is there any kind of take on with the kids of what you try to help the prophecies help them do?
Yeah, it depends on the kids, and she tries to be age appropriate with them. So the younger ones, she would, she would always, and they're going to blab to each other. So she would, always say, she would give them a prophecy of you are the kindest person, and you're always fun to play with, and you love your friends, and your friends love you, and just little just little rhymes, little boosts. And she would, with her jeweler's tools, she would put a little something on each one to memorialize it. And then for the love struck teenagers, she might add a little life advice in there. The one who is meant for you will be meant for you, and you will know it at the time of the knowing. The things like that. So give them a little life advice, and clean them all up so they all come out a little shinier than they went in, and try to help them. But she's always trying to be age appropriate. She's not punking them completely.
Yeah, no, perfect.
I'm definitely messing with the teenagers that are trying to take strips of the heart, because I'm like, I want to make sure that they don't actually mess up the whole heart because it's still an offering. So when I see them trying to come, I hand them the correct knife to be, and I pull out the spot for them to do it, and tease them about which one that I see them about to run off to, or who they just ran from. But
I don't know what you're talking about. Nope, just one piece of it. Just cool. It's just cool looking.
But yeah, that's how I go about teasing the teenagers, at least the love struck ones. And then if there's any of the younger ones, I ask them to lift ridiculously too large of pieces of meat to take to the campfires, call the small ones and be like, hey, come take this piece, and they're struggling trying to take it over, but they don't want to drop it.
Very cool. All right, who else?
Layla will probably, having delivered all of her various herbs and wild mushrooms and whatnot to wherever they need to be, will kind of just be sitting kind of in a shadowy alley or something, and anytime a kid happens to walk by, she kind of just steps out and tries to hand them one of the wild flowers that she found, and every time just freaking them out. She's not doing it intentionally. She just is kind of being in the shade and just in the shadows, and just not intentionally, but she's just over there in the dark, and then just popping out every once in a while.
Very cool. Just a second. All right. And with and so there starts to be a game of a little bit talk to Layla. No, you talk to Layla. Does she even have a name? As they are kind of goading each other a little bit to take the flower. And a few times you notice that when one takes the flower, they'll run around the creature here about 7 times as a way to shake off the bad luck that they keep thinking that you've given them. But they keep shouting run off the luck and keep the blessing.
She kind of makes a mental note of each of the ones that does take a flower, and is going to make sure that she sends them good dreams tonight.
Who else?
Nala's been putting on several different variations of performance tonight. So as the sun's still up, she's she was playing some music earlier. Eventually, she was for some of the older folks and for the more the young adults, I guess. Really, she's kind of been trying to narrate out the story of what happened earlier, and so she has these lines like, "The room is crib, you've pierced the air with howls that gave our hearts despair. with swords in hand and hearts aligned. We've slain you, beast, and now we drink our wine. And as people are kind of getting into it, they eventually just kind of move on. But there's also another part of the performance too that's meant for the children. And unlike a lot of the other people that are working there, she doesn't mess with the kids. As a matter of fact, anytime she sees someone messing with the kids, even in a lighthearted way, there's almost like this hint of shooting them a mean scowl, almost as if it's just not a good thing to do. And as her playing continues, and as eventually people just kind of wander around, she eventually goes back to some of the songs she knows best, and she's playing some very authentic music of Stone Giants, and the types of songs that only Stone Giants would even recognize. Otherwise, it's just this nice melodic tune to the background, and she's kind of playing that as she takes some tea as it's passed out from the ones that Torhilda has made, and she's obviously taken a break to go and take some of the leather, I believe, for herself as well. And as her performance comes to an end, she eventually just puts away the harp and tries to convince the other organizers to consider paying her for her donation to the festival with invaluable song. And how she's also interviewing people. She takes out her pen and she's moving from person to person in the hunting group and asking them questions and writing down answers and just kind of making a documentation of the entire event, almost as if she was a news reporter.
Amazing. So in this kind of big thing, there's not a in the village. It's funny because the way they live, it's not so much like this thing of coin, but I get like everyone gets Nala at this point. So there's like very rusted or old coins that people have found and like keep to do this with. They gotta go. It brings her so much joy. Bless her heart. And they go, oh, let's give it to her. And they begin to they do this. So they're give, and there's I would say probably a good 9 silver because there's a lot of copper that gets brought out. No one really knows what it's worth or cares, but it is like kind of brought in and given.
And she's very gracious about it. She thanks them tremendously, and of course hands them her paper that says, you should book me in the future. I'm always happy to oblige for such events, and thank you so much.
Perfect. So in this, Varathex comes to you, Nala, in these moments as she smiles. And with her, you see there is the skald of the village, kind of the grand skald, you could say, the grand storyteller, as Varathex speaks, was Nala. Would you be willing to, what do you say, do a big gig tonight?
Would I? Yes. I've dreamt of this moment. Yes, I absolutely would love to.
And the Grand Skald rolls their eyes as he looks and goes, do you have to encourage her? And she goes, a different, you will rot and we will bury you and use your bones for spears very soon, and you must eventually figure out who's next. I told you this.
I've been documenting everything. I did add a love interest. I took a few liberties, but otherwise it's very accurate to the hunt.
Liberties, says the Grand Skald. Breathes, and Varathax kind of pats her on the back. Right, of course. Nala. Tonight, then, we will leave you to do the grand telling of this and the founding. You may bring how you came into it, but it is yours to lead the people in the grand tale.
Yes, of course. Can I use costumes? And I've been trying out some different voices.
Oh my gosh, voices. And through gritted teeth, you will be the sculpt. Therefore, you can do whatever you like.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Grand Skull. I will not let you down. And she almost makes like a prayer pose and just bows to him or whoever.
And Varathax goes, and the Grand Skald, right. For your gig. And she takes out a gold coin.
Gold? For me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, Grand Skull. I will treasure this gold forever.
Yes. May I go now? Yes, you can go. And I'm Varathax goes, I'm looking forward to your performance.
Of course. You will love it. You'll love it, I promise.
And then, in the same way, a little later doing everything, well, let's say this, Brinja, Varathax is going to approach you as well. What might you be doing, you think, while this is happening, when this occurs?
She probably has figured out by now that I peeled away from the party about 5 minutes ago and went down to the lake and quickly tried to clean up a little bit. And again, Brittany has spent half of her life as an animal, so she basically just stripped out of her her armor and just jumped in the lake and scrubbed down a little bit. Is like coming out of the lake dripping wet, putting her armor back in. Stops, looks up, and says, "Yes, Forest Mother."
I appreciate your connection to this, your in many ways forest daughter, I think. I had something happen the other day. For the first time in my life, my back made a pain and weird noise.
Would you like me to look at it, Forest Mother, or is there something?
No. Centuries, this never happened.
So my mentor was some 300 years old, and he was spry as a 50-year-old. You are at least older than that. This has to happen eventually, but how long have you actually been in the village?
I've counted 50,000 sons.
50,000 sons.
And it is interesting. So, I wish the truth, your friend Azariah, as a gave. Would you dedicate it tonight?
Absolutely, if that's what you wish me to do. I know that the spells and the rituals, I will very happily do it.
But you have been a good student. And once it is dedicated, you may wear it.
I have not yet earned the right to wear the tooth. Do you want me to start the cloak or?
Yes, if you dedicate it, you wear it. Pinja.
I am greatly honored by this moment. I will take this solemn duty.
Someone has to announce the times, and someone has to keep people doing what they need. They just need reminders from time to time.
You're not planning on going anywhere shortly, are you?
Brinja. Two things. One, when it is people's time to go, it is never by a plan.
I am at peace with this, yes.
Second, old people always lie about their age.
Yeah, that is very much true.
She takes her leave there. Something else. All right. I think right there we're going to go ahead and take a break. And go back. As we eagerly await for Ryan to reconnect with his mic.
That is such a running gag.
What's so funny, because in my view, I actually see like the little device not connected window. I'm like, oh, there it is. There we go. Hey, Ryan.
I was already back. I just didn't unmute the. I just didn't hit unmute on the screen. As you eagerly awaited my return.
Yeah, well, that's why I know
And
I have
it
to
was
say
a running
something
gag?
to- Yeah. That's why I know I have to say something, otherwise you won't unmute yourself. And I go, "Where's Ryan?" the whole time.
Yep.
Passively make jokes. All right. I think it looked like everyone else had. Reading some of the comments. Very fun. So, all right. In that case, so a few hours have passed at this point. Burns has washed, getting some of this moving. We're getting into more late afternoon, and the larger bones and such things have been erected to, like, the ribs especially. At least a few of them have been used to make some slides for the kids. They've been able to come up, and they've used some leg bones and even a few vertebrae to make a little bit of a stair up there so they could have some fun, though it is horribly dangerous as the way it is, and thin, and some of them have a little bit of spines, and there's a little energy that runs through it, so as they get off, there's like this big arc of electricity that shocks the kids in the back, and they go, "Yes!" and they think it's the coolest thing. As they're going down, as so much energy is brought up, and it's become a very fun deal. In addition, some things that you would see are the crafting of weapons, even now from the bones that are happening, especially ones for more of the teenagers, getting them ready to go forth their first weapons. Specifically here upon the 13th year is when they would be given their first true set. They'd go from wood weapons and training things to weapons that could kill a being very, very well. And so there's a lot of those traditions are being put down, as well as those who are going who this would be their 15th year, and next year would be their 16th year. As upon the 16th, they take their first trip with the hunting party, traditionally. At least many of the ones who are continuing weapons. In the same way, there are the 15-year villagers here are going to other places as well. Some caring more about the hides, some caring more about keeping the hearth, and they're kind of officially taking the lessons. And this is often the start of a year of them learning other trades as well. After this time, as not all continue upon the hunt. Basically, is a choice that they make. And this is the time when they take many of the other ones that never go on the hunt, because it's not good to risk that well of knowledge upon such things. During this time, is there anything that you feel your characters would be doing, or where they might be in all of this?
You said the carving's pretty much done.
Yeah, the meat here now is pretty that is moving. They've moved on to a lot of the salting, drying rack, so to speak.
So then I probably would, having cleaned up my gear and left the salting and drying to some of the others, because I was specifically carving for this feast, would go and find a tied up bundle and that I had brought, because I knew I would find Nala out here at some point, and go looking for Nala.
Yeah, I think Nala is pretty much done with her performances and is kind of just sitting back and just watching the sky. I don't know what the sky looks like here, but if it's got a lot of stars and that sort of thing, she's just kind of enjoying the view as she just sits near the makeshift stage.
Nala.
So the sky currently, it's still daytime, it's late afternoon.
Okay.
But it is a beautiful clear blue, and because the sun with the late afternoon does set slightly by a mountain, it's like late afternoon almost looks like an early evening to the west, where it's like bright day in the east.
In that case, she's not really sky gazing at all. She's mostly just drinking tea and talking to people who happen to be still around, very much just trying to keep people connected in this community. And even though she herself is a bit of a recluse, so it's a strange thing.
Nala,
Rin,
how are you? How was the performance?
oh, I made a gold and a couple of silver, so I think that was pretty good.
How do I relate to coin, Matt?
I think it's up to you, my friend.
Fair enough. Oh yeah, we've had some travelers come through the Shadow Moon Lodge that use coin a lot. Is that a good amount?
It's more than I've seen in a while. I kind of grew up near Tovaran, where coins kind of were a little bit more frequent.
Okay. I have your the vellum you needed for, you said the pamphlets.
Oh, right. Thank you. And she'll take that. So were you with the hunting party?
No, not this month. I was given the honor of carving.
Oh, how was it? And she takes out her pin.
Hot. This one, the electrical charge of the lightning in this one was the muscles were still twitching, so got slapped by one of them at one point, but it went well.
So you might say, in the quiet of your kitchen's sacred realm, where the shadows danced and flickered a flame, there was a symphony, a timeless hymn, and as blades met flesh, what a delicate game.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I don't.
Can I quote you?
That, by all means. It's kind of your thing, quoting people.
Exactly. Would you like me to add a love interest?
I'm sorry, what?
Would you like me to add a love interest in the carving? Perhaps your hands met as you both took blade to carve.
Not this time. I think we'll skip the love interest this time, Nala, but I appreciate you asking me, because that would certainly change the flow of the story.
Well, so be it. Oh, if you do go on a next hunting party, though, you should consider taking me.
Yeah, actually, Azariah was saying something about wanting to potentially go on the next one. So I'm sure Brynja will be happy to take you both along.
Isn't Azariah great?
Yeah. Great friend of mine.
Do you think he's related to the stone giants?
You know, I know he's of giant blood. Don't remember which one specifically.
Well, it's just with his name, I naturally assumed, but I didn't want to, guess because it might be offensive.
Honestly, I should know that, and it's just escaping me right now. I've started imbibing once the carving was done. It's just lost to me in the moment.
Rin, one other question.
Yeah.
You dabble in magic, right?
I do.
What specifically is your magical realm?
A variation of necromancy, I guess.
That's raising the dead.
But I take more the necrotic energies to inflict pain upon my targets. Not so much the raising portion. At least not in the typical sense of... I can, in fact, draw back a soul when necessary, but it requires... and I pull out a diamond, a gem similar to this, and these are hard to come by, so we try to not let people get to that point.
Ah. Well, if you ever find anything that you wanted to market or sell, I'd be happy to loan my marketing skills to your endeavor for free.
Oh, that is most kind of you. I do make leathers, as well as I cook for many of the village.
Okay, we'll call you the Leather Man.
I suppose that's a title that could be given.
Not to be
knows
confused with the other Leather Man.
Everyone knows me as Renario. They know what I work in. I don't know that you have to give me such a descriptive title.
You're right. It's been a long time since I've been able to market anything, so I sometimes get a little ahead of myself.
Oh, you keep saying is that like that you take it to market for me?
Well, I'd promote you.
Could
if
you
I
expand on that?
Well, if I would make pamphlets detailing your work and your prices, and if you had a deal of a certain week, I could make an entire page on that.
Wait, would I be needing to charge the coin that you enjoy so much?
Well, you don't have to charge coin. You could charge whatever you wanted. I mean, there's different types of payment.
Because normally we at least I tend to just barter with people for things they need. If someone if someone needs armor made or repaired, I do that. They possibly provide me with You're
still thinking of here. I was thinking other places. We get all these, every now and then travelers make their way through, and they might have a different means of economics.
Oh yeah, I've mostly bartered in the Shadow Moon Lodge. We're traveling so much that we kind of just, when we meet strangers, we pass along what they need, and they give us things they think would be useful, whether it was spare material that they had upon them, dried meats and the like.
Dried meats for carving animals. Got it. if you want a pet or something like that, we could put that on the barter list. You could make a whole list of things that you're in need of, and then people could come like a registry, and they would just sign off. And if you needed food or ingredients or whatever you needed.
I will try to keep a more updated list of things I could use. I guess, as I said, and I hold up the diamond again, these are always hard to come by. So if we could manage to trade for some of those, that would be most helpful.
I'd be happy to draw it.
As long as that's not what we're trading for.
No, of course not. Well, I'll get right to work, and we'll make you bigger than all of Israel.
Okay. I don't know how you're going to make me larger than a continent, but
Hey,
I'm sure the
don't worry about
experience would be something to remember.
it will be, and then you can take me with you.
Oh, yes, you're already invited.
Oh, great. I can't wait. And so they made a pact to travel to the seas.
I don't know if the hunt will take us all the way to the sea, but I suppose it's not an impossibility.
Ren expressed doubts, but little did he know Nala was very persuasive. There was an awkward silence between them.
Well, Nala, I look forward to our hunt together. I'm going to go check on Azariah.
You as well.
I'll just leave at that point.
Ormunder has been carefully cleaning and oiling the blade of his dagger. And suddenly, with the third ale, he remembers another old Dragonborn song that he hasn't yet asked Nyla if she knows. And he knows that he has to rush over right away before he forgets this song again. And he's certain that this time, this song, Nyla is definitely going to know.
Yeah.
And he comes up and he says, Nyla, I got another song. It's called The Dragonborn Comes. It goes, our hero claims a warrior's heart. Do you know that one?
I tell you, the Dragonborn comes. I do.
Oh, I am so happy. Next time you play, you must play this for me.
I will. I'll play it on your next festival day.
I'm so happy, and he suppresses a bit of a belch, and a little bit of fire and smoke comes out of his nostrils. And this has been a very good day.
It has, hasn't it? Oh,
What
before you
was
go,
the other song I asked? Did you know that one? Oh, never mind. I don't care.
I'll figure it out. But before you go,
you know one. It's good. Oh, yes.
Ormunder, where are you going from here?
I think we're going to the bones soon.
To the giant bone?
We have to make the offering, yes?
Will you take me with you?
I would like that. I will
Great.
protect you and ensure that no one harms you. Although, you're kind of beefy yourself.
Yes, I am.
Well, we will protect each other then.
We'll call it the Fellowship of the Bone.
I'm just looking out for X's. That's good. That's good. Say, Nyla, would you like to get another ale first?
Oh, just tea for me, but thank you. As a matter of fact, if Torhilda still has any, I absolutely love what she puts together.
Excellent. I'll check with her. It seems like there've been no incidents from this tea.
Well, don't tell her that.
Oh yeah, good point. We wouldn't want to hurt her feelings. I shall return with tea, and then we shall go to the ceremony of the bones.
Excellent. She will go back to writing.
He walks off muttering to himself, "Song, tea, bones. Song, tea, bones."
You're muted, Matt.
While that is happening, well, it's the first time I've actually said this. Renriel?
Renariel.
Renario, of course. The leader of this year's hunt, Grenvinder, will approach you. They are very gruff themselves, dragonborn. Their scales, a black that is slowly kind of faded a little bit to gray, but still very strong.
A veteran.
Yeah, very much. And they did very well in leading and such things as a approach. And no. Did you get everything you needed from the kill this year?
Ah, yes, Huntmaster. Everything was taken that was necessary.
Now tell me, what is the inspiration, the thing that you are most looking forward to making in the cold winters from this beast?
I believe there were... Actually, that's a question. What is the housing situation? Is it like mostly tents and stuff? Is there some like wooden lodgings?
It's a lot of wooden lodgings with leather roofs.
Okay. I know there were a few families that needed the roofs repaired, so was going to make sure to get to that before the cold truly hits, and then close for any that were lacking. But if armor is needed for further, more dangerous hunts, I'm always available to make those. Though the metal is not anything I can say I can work with.
Metal is hard to find. That is true. Well, I have many more hunts in me, but there's one I think I have done my last of. Not this one. It is the youngin' ones that will come. When they go, I'd like you to do this instead. To be the hunt master of the youth.
You wish me to teach?
Yes, it is a great responsibility. The 15s must you take them from this day forward, and You lead them in their 16th year of the hunt. And hopefully, without raising your blade, you bring them all home.
That is a great honor you bestow upon me. I was not expecting it, but I will accept it if that is what you wish of me, Huntmaster.
If you feel you can do it.
I find I get along well with the 15s. They are easily teased, and so can be kept in line or bolstered quite easily.
And that is good. They will hear meaner things than what will come from our mouths in their days. It's good that they learn. Of 30 hunts I have taken with those who would wish to go on their first, 5 I have come back with all intact. It is a grave responsibility and burden. So, it means much that you will do this. It means they will go with you when it is time to gather for our march to the mountain and the Dagon.
Could we have them carry this year's offering of the heart then?
That is up to you. Well, they're under your care. And, believe me, you will need to apologize for them more than once. But it's just... I hope you will find it good. And don't worry, you will make a mess. But it will clean up in the end. I'm just kind of hard and hands you a dagger that looks freshly carved. I dug in the mouth of our kill deep in, and I found this baby tooth. It never came out. And I thought a fitting sign of what you are being asked to do. To be sure that these young people grow up and don't stay stuck.
Thank you, Huntmaster. I shall bring what wisdom to them I can, and what I've brought with me from the Shadow Moon Lodge.
Good. This will probably be the last bit of respect you'll ever receive. Next year. But you will do good. All right. Got a few more about what we're doing during this time. Always remind us, it's kind of a time where there's a lot of teaching going on, a little bit of prep.
Torhilda is back in her little house hut, having helped butcher. She's not good with the fine work, but she has some hand axes and some blades, so she helped do the rough work. And now she's back in her hut, just cleaning, the bones that she got, and it's just busying herself, but also being just conspicuously available for anyone who would like to chat.
Love it. As your or is there a character who wanted to jump on that? Got a few. Nope. Okay. As you're there, kind of chopping and getting everything moving. The pieces of meat that you are severing, you go to get a particularly big one that seems lumpy, and you can even tell by how you're going to get it. You can already see the pieces of fat and marbleization around, telling you how good it's going to be, and just needs to be a little bit more trimmed to be appropriate for what is next. As you cut into it, it's as if you just cut slightly too deep here. And as you do, it almost bleeds, but a deep violet.
Oh.
And it pours onto your space. And it starts dripping heavily, an impossible amount for the piece and cut of meat that you have. What would you like to do?
Interesting. Is the blood coming from inside the piece?
Yeah, it seems to be like flowing out almost like a stream or a mountain spring.
Do I feel something inside?
I'm gonna kind of stick it and try to do that. Give me
Yeah, I'm
investigation.
gonna, I'm gonna stick my hand in there.
Yeah.
Oh, investigation. Yeah, I think I'm negative in that. Yeah.
For this, due to its nature, you can use your wisdom and replace intelligence.
Yeah, still -3.
There's a inspo, a couple of inspos in chat.
Yeah,
I
so you
do-
can take advantage.
Can I use insight? Or is it just a straight wisdom's roll?
I'll give you an insight here.
Okay, that have a little bit of a plus on that. Let's see. Yeah, Torhild is not smart or wise. Oh, a dirty 20.
Hey.
Is this the first roll of the night?
I think
and it's a
second,
dirty
but
20?
it's very good.
It's a dirty
This is-
20. A dirty 20.
It was the second one. Somebody made one.
A second roll of the night. All right, a dirty
Good,
20. Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, you reach in here and put your hands around. It's like almost like something is stuck. And you pull it out. It's hard. And again, this cut's probably that you're working with maybe 12 inches long, but as you pull, it comes out and possibly like a 27-inch long piece of stone.
What's it look like?
It seems to have been burned with an engraving. And it is from these burned letters that this violet blood is seemingly pouring out. And it's
Is it continuing to pour even after I've extracted the stone?
Mm-hmm. It is now like pouring onto your arms, on your elbows. Just kind of the stone is what seems to be bleeding.
out of its engravings.
Mm-hmm.
Do I recognize the engravings?
2. As you read it, it simply says, when blinded, the people perish. Any sight leads away from death. And then as you look up, they're covered in purple blood. This purple violet stuff is, I'll let you describe them to us, even though not everyone sees this, but for our mind's eye, your sister.
So, Svanhilda appears.
Mm-hmm.
So what you see is almost a photo negative of Torhilda, where Torhilda has fiery red hair. She has pale hair. The facial features and the tattoos are exactly the same. Svanhilda's furs are white, and she is, her hair is not styled in the same way. Very light hair, flowing. She appears, even though her build is exactly the same, she appears much more graceful than Torhilda, just in the way she carries herself. But she's a little bit translucent and glowing.
Her mouth moves voicelessly as you see the words, "They have failed." And you look down, and it seems that in your clumsiness you may have cut your hand. The purple blood is gone. The meat does seem like you've stuck your hand in it. There is no stone.
No stone.
No. And she is gone.
Okay. What could this mean? I'm going to keep this meat. May I keep this meat for myself? No, I'm going to.
I mean, you're in your hut, so you could try to do it.
Oh, it's in my hut. Okay. It's
Well,
in
I
my
thought that's
hut.
what you
Okay.
told me. I thought you told me you were in your hut.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to, I'm going to start chopping the meat in little pieces. I'm making minced meat. Do I find anything? Is there anything in there? Anything else?
Now I'll need an investigation check.
Investigation. Yeah. Okay. Investigation. Where is that? Oh, -3, Alex. Okay.
You have to have that
A dirty 2.
one.
I rolled a 5. It's a 2.
Not find
He's
anything.
not a brainiac. Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah, you're
have
just
no
emptying and cutting, and it's just all meat to you. And
All right. So I finished cutting that off. I go over to my bowl and I wash my hands. And then I take out my book, a leather book, and my ink and my quill. And I turn the page and I write the date. And I write down what happened and what was said. But to anybody looking at it, It's not in a language. It's just in a series of weird marks. But I know I wrote down what she said. Does Torhilda have any idea what she's talking about?
I think nothing that I think your understanding would be Torhilda's at this point. I think.
Okay.
So yeah, the idea of they have failed, you're not sure what that, you wouldn't be positive to what that would refer to.
Okay. And she just says, Funhilda, stop being so cryptic. You were always so cryptic. What do you mean? Stop teasing me.
All right. So, let's see here. The guy either Araya or Layla. Whatever is going on.
Well, being the recoverer and trying to make everything a little bit easier, and the ease that I can access minor tricks for people to use, just helping them really access precipitation to clean off the meat and do things like that in preparation for the meal directly for tonight, just to make sure everything is don't want anyone being sick, but also, you know, really getting into the intricacies of spellcasting as well, while you know, giving out these runes as a easy way to do this magic, but also, you know, trying to spark interest in magic to teach as well.
Yeah. So let's say I think there are two young ones. I say young ones; they would be in this 15 range, who they're trying to pay attention. They are obviously thinking of maybe trying to do this, wanting to not be part of the hunt next year, and wanting to understand runes and do that role in the society here. What approach, if any, do you think you're taking here with them?
So, you know, knowing that, you know, who I learned from was my grandmother, who was very soft in learning, and the way she taught things, she made everything into like a story. And so I think that Azariah would make up some, you know, story about how you know, through like different situations, whether they might be through adversity or being scared and different things like that, that you might be able to suddenly get a vast introspection, which allows you to draw out the power within that you might not have believed in yourself to begin with. And so he's trying to instill confidence in these children, that even if they don't want to go out there, that they can be useful, whether it's in magic or anything else.
Nice. Gotcha. So like beginning skills they could take to anything, kind of.
Yeah.
Very basic. Yeah. The general education from Cromman College. Totally.
Yeah.
And all there. And they begin taking that up. Give me insight check, please.
Sure. Insight, you said? Okay. Insight is +2. 16.
16. Okay. Um, you see one of them. They are pursuing this with a enthusiasm, in almost like a confidence, like they believe they can do this.
Mhm.
And the other is pursuing this with great fear, scared that they won't be able to. They're shaking, and there's just this, a huge amount of self-doubt that reads all over their face.
Looking out and trying to make eye contact with the child that seemingly more confident. You can be even stronger if you rely on the others beyond yourself. It is the weakest part of the tree that usually falls first. Make sure that you install and help confidence and help others reach their goals so they might travel that mountain with you. And I'm trying to encourage the other kid to, because I, as an adult, don't want to interfere. I think if I help the child encourage the child, that they would feel not only closer together, but the child will relate to the other child, trying to install that confidence in them a little bit more. Not only helping the other kid with some leadership skills, but maybe also some boldness in the other kid, and letting him believe in himself.
Your persuasion check.
I like this. Let's do it. Oh, 12.
Okay. I think the message is gone forth, and they kind of roll their eyes, and it's a very, but knowing you probably are right, but really don't like it, and they're kind of like it's below them a little bit, or at least a hassle for them. And they kind of understood.
You think I got this big just trying to do this by myself? There's no way. And then I, using some water shaping abilities, I will trying to see how quick on their feet they are by suddenly throwing some water beneath them and freezing it, seeing if they can keep their balance.
Let's see here. Yeah, they make a point of focusing on that, and they're like, what? And that's what they do. Oh, they get a natural 20. They kind of push and kick it, and they go almost like, see, I know what I'm doing.
Oh, look at that. Maybe your confidence, you have enough for the whole village, the both of you.
And they, so the interaction there, kind of, it's there. The knowledge imparted, though the heart is not quite changed. But they just continue their work. Then, what's Layla finding herself in here?
Sorry, had my thing down. Layla has just been, after kind of the main butchering process was finished up, she actually kind of just goes up onto the hill near where I assume her and Brynja's cabin is, and just is kind of sitting up on the hill watching all of the festivities and everything going on from up above.
So,
Kind of just contemplating stuff at the moment.
yeah. Giving this idea of Layla being this person that kind of sits apart and watches, what is something that she sees about the village that no one or very few do? Well, the people there.
I'd say that I think she probably has noticed some of the elders going around to the next generation. The super old druid, I'm trying to blank on her name, going out to find Brynja, and the Grand Skald having Nala do the storytelling instead. The main hunt guy sending Renariel instead. Kind of just noticing all that stuff, and her not having really any concept of, the aging and passing of a torch, is finding that curious and kind of just starting to suspect something is happening or going on, that they might realize that the elders might realize that the rest doesn't.
And then anything anybody feels like would be happening before there's going to be a gathering at the base of the mountain before the trek goes up. And then from that gathering, everyone kind of moves, and so it's a big kind of to-do there. But it kind of is that last bit of transitioning from the teaching, the fun, to this kind of more spiritual moment for the people here. So just anybody who wants to put anything into this time.
No, I'm good. I said no aloud, but I thought I'm good.
Good? Okay. Good. All right. In that case, it naturally starts to occur as the sun begins to set more through the mountain. Darkness comes early, typically, here, and so torches are lit to commemorate this. There are many people and types of people here. It's not monochromatic or monoracial in any way. All different types of lives have come here and made families, whether romantically or convenience or through blood and combat or starvation. And it is a people of this place, not a people of blood. That is the feel here as they all gather together at the base. And They are led and they have their torches. And it is here that there are murmurings. Some, like Layla, have seen the rounds go by. And especially for some that are more older than many of you, but not old, kind of expected this to happen or something along these lines, these processes that they're beginning to see. As those of you who have a particular piece here would come up to the front to begin things. And I also want to say that all of you can have your own piece. Some of this was well established. Others of you, you can put yourself where you want to in this. Feel that empowerment, please. Put yourself here. But things that happen here, the sacrifice usually brought up, people are gathered, prepared, spoken to move up towards the skull. So there's some of the context here, and I'll hand it over to all of you.
Yeah, I would have gathered the 15s that I'm to soon be escorting on hunts, and helped set up probably a large piece of leather that I would have for a similar situation to help carry large pieces like this. So that way it's all spread amongst them. And I would have changed out of like my more casual attire into probably some of my more ceremonial leathers as I'm leading them up with the heart towards the skeleton.
All right. Definitely give me a persuasion. Let's see the type of leadership you're able to claim from these kids.
All right. I'll yoink inspo. And I've got +6. Oh, hell yeah. So 24.
Whether it was the respect you showed or the matter-of-factness that you went through, they have fallen in line. Some were relieved that they were not following that old man. Others frustrated, but through your skill and your, hey, do this, take this, push this over here, you demonstrated to them that you knew what you were doing. And they kind of have come around, at least for this. And for goodness gracious, those people they live with are watching, and so they're like, okay. But you do seem to have a modicum of control over this crew as they line up and are carrying the sacrifice.
Yeah. Looks up at the sky, looking a little bit worried, and pulls herself back to the task at hand. She steps up onto the stone altar that Verathex usually stands on. She takes the huge tooth in one hand and waves her other hand for attention. Villagers all, if I could have your attention. The good mother has asked me to lead you in the ritual of renewal. As we do after all big kills that provide our settlement sustenance and prosperity through the long cold winter. There are always forces in balance. Say the sacred words with me. Life and death. Warmth, and she produces flame in one hand, and bitter cold, and she produces ice with shape water in the other hand. Predator, she points to the hunting party, and prey, and she points to the last piece of the carcass. We are only on this land for so long, so embrace and enjoy all of it until your time has come. She holds up the huge, massive tooth for all to see. So tonight, eat, drink, celebrate, copulate, and live your small slice of life to the fullest. We know not what waits behind, but we must always respect the balance. And she steps down, still eyeing the sky worriedly.
Barathak spits out their mead. Okay, well, at least it'll be fruitful.
Well, as a writer, I wanted to do something in particular, I guess. Having a piece of the creature's brain, he puts it underneath the center part of the skull of the dragon, and he cuts off about an ounce of flesh from the brain. And he starts to cast a spell, saying a few words and invoking the power of the crystal upon his staff, and he consumes that ounce of brain, and he cast Consume Mind, and he starts to gain some memories and knowledge of that creature, and for an hour until the spell ends, he can attempt to recall any important fact known to the creature, family history, recent events, building layouts, passwords, details of the creature's death, and similar information. But to recall any piece of information takes an ability check using my modifier. DC is equal to the corpse intelligence score. But once I roll to determine whether I recall fact, I can't do it again. So I'm wanting to know if there is any other beast of this nature around, so I will try to maybe recall any family history.
Okay. So, do you already get your modifier, or do I have to give an ability check?
The ability check uses my spellcasting modifier that gives me that modifier, but the DC is equal to the intelligence score of the beast.
Okay, so you roll your spellcasting modifier.
Yep. So that's going to be all right. Okay. I still haven't gotten the metal one yet. That's crazy. Plus 19.
You kind of close your eyes and you see what look like bone talons that come from the ground somewhere. And dwelling here are what appear to be smaller versions of this creature. As you look down through this creature's eyes, and they're all smaller. So the scale, because of where you are, you don't have a sense necessarily of the sizes as much. You can just tell they're smaller. And they are without the runic markings. They hunt, and they gather, and scatter as the memory of this creature moves through them. So roughly a pod of 11 here.
and giving, I guess, knowledge to the fact of, family preservation, history, and family. I will make some other pieces out for the children and lay it out, the main piece for the dragon, and say some words pertaining to nature and the cycle of life, and giving sacrifice to that, and so it goes type deal. And after that, I will find Ren, and this thing had about 11 children, I think. It's 11 more beef that could be possible to hunt in the future, but also 11 beasts that could be wondering why mom is gone.
Said that to Ren, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Is this in my mind, or are you saying it out loud?
No, I went over to you.
Okay. If you can get a location, I've got some 15s I've got to train up now.
Do you think that's prudent? I have a rough idea, and I kind of explain. I'm not great with forest, although I'm keen with some places, mostly nice and terrain and heightened terrain. But I will describe the places I saw. The rock, the different, plants and things I saw.
Were they young?
They were definitely smaller, that's for sure.
Then, like wolves, we can pick off a weak one to teach our own young.
Yeah, I guess so, but I don't think it's smart to kill them all.
I suppose that could be true.
It has to be a natural order of things. I honestly shouldn't peek that far. I should have learned something else about it.
You still have time to do so.
I guess, but I mean, what do you want to know? Where it shits and all?
Certainly makes it easier to track.
I guess I have so much time, but I mean, the great beast here, I wouldn't want to ruin the sacrifice.
That's all right. I was joking. You don't need to tell me where it shits.
No.
We can track them from where Brynja found this one.
Fair enough. I guess that makes sense. She's something else, I guess, that Brynja, I tell you.
Yeah.
Well, it just seemed like you knew her before. I guess I don't know.
Oh, I do. She hasn't changed much.
Fair enough. I think I've seen her once on my way here, actually. She was out in the woods. Well, anyways, Ren, it was nice talking to you. I'll see you later. He goes and he's like, man, I gotta go study. He takes out his little thermos, little type thing that he has. It's very small. and that was the leftover from the press that he had, and he pours it in his cup, and he's like, okay, gotta go drink some and study.
All right.
Right. So when there's a break in the ceremony, Torhilda will come forward. She's cleaned up. Battle axe is no longer visible. She's carrying a very large clay pot over her head that has a lot of intricate runes carved into it. Not runes that anyone would necessarily recognize, but she's carrying it above her head, and she steps forward and up, and she gets away, several steps away, many steps away from the crowd, and turns to face the crowd and smashes the pot on the ground, and you see all of the entrails from the beast scatter, and her eyes turn white again, and she turns photonegative, and she stares at the entrails for a good long minute, and then another minute, and then she lifts her head up, and the wind whips her hair up, and she speaks in an extremely loud, booming whisper. In caverns deep where dragons sleep and treasures vast lie buried deep, a prophecy in flame and scale foretells a hero's destined tale. When dragons' breath ignite the night and stars align, revealing sight, a warrior bold shall rise on high to challenge fate and realms defy. And then she returns to herself, kind of shakes herself, and saunters off.
Brinia speaks up and says, would you care to explain that particular comment, or is this well, I've seen this one before, but I don't like it. What did you mean by that?
I don't know. It's an important prophecy.
The dragon's deep idea and the heroes and all the words. It's an important prophecy, but can you write it down, perhaps?
Oh yes, I will write it down in my book right now. I've written them all down.
If you could say the second time, I could write it down in something we could read.
Sure. Well, and I'm writing it down, and I can read it.
No, you can read it, but if you say it in front of me, I can also write down, and we can read it.
Of course. Would you like me to say it again?
That would be lovely, yes.
Okay. You want me to do it right now?
And Brinia pulls out a piece of charcoal and a piece of parchment from her pocket and is like, if possible, yes.
Okay. Yeah, not a problem. In caverns. So, and she's now paging through her notes where she wrote it down really quick right after in what looks like a weird runic shorthand. And she's reading it back. In caverns deep where dragons sleep and treasures vast lie buried deep. A prophecy in flame and scale foretells a hero's destined tale. When dragon's breath ignites the night and stars align, revealing sight, a warrior bold shall rise on high to challenge fate and realms defy.
I'm gonna need that in Discord for damn sure. I couldn't type that.
Absolutely. She's got a whole book of them.
Love it. Thank you.
Self-published, by the way.
17 volumes of poetry. Who knew?
Yes. All in couplets. All of them in couplets.
$9.99 on Kindle.
Yes.
I turned to Nyla, having watched the ceremony. Nyla, do you feel the power that surrounds the ceremony and the bones?
Should I?
It feels to me like something deep from the earth, some power that is greater than ourselves. I didn't know if only it feels that way to me or if it feels that way to everyone.
Oh, I don't feel anything.
Do your songs tell of these things? Is it written where the power comes from?
Well, I mean, there are different theories. And Nala has looked very uneasy about the bringing of the 15s on this journey, and has looked at them every now and then, almost with the sense of studying them, as if she recognizes them, but it's fleeting. And then there's like this sadness to it. And then she looks back at Bormunder. Well, my stone giant kin taught me a couple of things. One of them was of a grand hero named Orlin Rockhammer. And Rockhammer was a welder, a smith. He would make trinkets and not really battle items, but he certainly made things that made people happy. And a lot of the other stone giants who knew Orlin, they would look upon him with both awe and sadness. And each day they would pass by Orlin and they say, "Here is Orlin, the great smith, and one day the greatest of us all." And Orlin never understood what they meant until one day when he left the caverns of his home. For there was a great cry, an echo booming in the sky, and there, flying down, was a dragon, majestic, beautiful, and he was mesmerized by it, as if entranced. And certainly the other stone giants were also entranced. But Orlin, upon seeing something on the dragon, one of his trinkets turned into a necklace that he had given an old friend who had never returned. And there it was on the dragon. And he knew in that moment the dragon was his enemy. While the other stone giants were ready to welcome the dragon back home, no doubt serving it a meal, Orlin stood in front of the cavern with no weapons, no armor, and he raised back his fist and slung it forward as the dragon flew toward the entrance. And they say that was the first thunder heard in the great mountains. And to this day, when it thunders, some still say, "Ah, it's Orlin, the greatest of us all." So wherever power comes from, some people believe in myths, legends. Others believe in something more tangible or magical. But to be truthful with you, Bormunder, I've seen a lot of magic. And I'm scared of it. Because I know what it can do. It can devastate lives. It can rob people of what they love most in all the world. So I don't know. I don't feel it here, but maybe that's because I feel it everywhere.
I think you are very wise, like my friend Torhilde, but I can understand your wisdom a little better.
Well, I'm a lot older than I look.
I must think about what you have told me. But I have noticed a thing about you. You seem worried about the 15s. Do you think they're in danger?
I remember them when they were small. I remember them when they were children. And now they're growing up and entering into this next chapter. And it's a dangerous world to grow up in. So I worry for them. But I know that this is the way of things here.
I see. So there is not a threat I must protect them from. They are just experiencing the dangers that we all must experience to grow.
I think I learned a long time ago it's a bad idea to try to protect people from growing up.
I don't think that. I think you just must protect them until they grow up.
See? You're wise too.
I am not wise, but you are kind to say.
Well, I'm just happy to be here.
Me too. And I pass another cup of tea that I have gathered from my friend Torhilde. And I just sit and think about all that I've seen here today. This is a wondrous place.
Brinia speaks up and says, Has anyone else noticed that the wind and the sky are changing? Color is a little unnatural right now.
Yes. Can I try to predict what the weather's going to be like over the next 24 hours? Using my druidcraft?
Indeed. What's it look like for you to use your druidcraft?
As soon as Brynja says that, I kind of close my eyes and maybe lick my index finger and hold it up. And try to get a good read as I sniff the air for any moisture or warmth to get an idea.
I fucking love you.
And I stand close to Azariah so I can get a small boost to this.
Absolutely.
What? It's one of the things I have.
It's the unrequited. I'm never trying to be close to. I'm like, oh, you're the person at the library that gives me books. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah, there's you as you just look at your finger, you'd feel these sensations of fire and a buzzing of electricity and a deafening thunder. And then you see from your saliva It freezes over your finger. It's not normal.
This is strange. It's as
It's Chicago.
the bears. It's as if fire and winter is coming at the same time. There's a storm brewing, a lightning storm, but both freezing and hot.
As all of you look at the sky, it has begun to have a violet glow.
By violet, you mean like completely unnatural, like weird, like magical stuff, or like this is an unusual natural occurrence? Like in my druidic terms, like does this feel like a little weird or like extra weird?
You've not seen it. It's not giving off a light at this point necessarily, just this color. There's a sense at which it's obscuring the stars.
Does it appear magical in nature?
Give me an Arcana check.
15.
It doesn't have the sense of magic so much as any magic it has is more akin to yours, not arcane. You're muted.
Okay, so more natural magic then.
Yeah, if it is harnessed like this,
Okay.
it's not arcane in nature.
As Layla notices this too, everyone's gonna notice that she's suddenly become a bit on edge, and just every once in a while she'll hear her making a clicking noises as she's gone on high alert and is very much kind of looking around very closely at everything around them.
In Layla's mind, with no accent at all, she hears, "Relax, not yet. It's coming."
And Brynja hears in her mind, I know it's coming.
So be ready.
As far as the ceremony here, all that is left is for Nala to lead everyone to the skull while singing her song.
Oh.
You don't have to sing. You can
I'm
just
not
describe
going.
anything you want. You could take that
Yeah,
for however you want
um,
to take it, right? So just have it.
So this is interesting because she plays the harp, and it's hard to picture someone carrying a harp, but she is really strong. So I guess
Some would carry it for you if you.
okay, fair enough.
They also make mini harps. You could just have a mini harp.
That is true. I keep thinking of like the giant orchestral version. But yeah, so she's like beginning to play, and her song is at first just a lot of light humming that seems to echo into the night, and parts of the verses are in giant and parts are in common, and it's this interesting melodic mixture between two different styles of music, and there's a lot of it does feel very, very much as a part of Skolatiel, and the lyrics themselves are all very traditional in the sense of about the trek and about the great hunt with an added love interest, and it's just very it flows very much, and it just sort of kind of feels a little larger than it is. It's almost like there's an echoing effect to the harp as it continues to move through the darkness.
So you all proceed up the mountainside. And around half to 3/4 in that area of progression, there begins to be this violet glow from within the skull itself. Nala, you're in the lead. Do you proceed? Do you stop? Do you do something else?
She will assume the others see it. Is that a fair assessment?
Everyone does see it. It's just she's literally in the lead.
Yeah, no, she'll keep going. She's kind of fascinated by this, as if this is exactly the type of thing she had hoped to see, and is just going to keep walking unless someone stops this march.
Does Layla get a bad feeling coming from this?
Explain to me the feelings, how they work.
I guess does this seem like it'd be a kind of, she's trying to listen to her quote unquote gut of, does this seem like a good idea to keep going with all of these kids into this mysterious light here, or should we maybe stop?
Interesting. I guess give me insight.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and grab inspiration as well. So 19.
Okay. There is something deeply wrong.
Okay, at that, Nala is gonna hear a voice in her head. Stop.
So yeah, she'll stop.
Stop.
So the song kind of abruptly comes to an end as well.
That happens. A jet of violet flame shoots out of the mouth of the skull. Seems to scorch the beginning of like the first 100 feet around, but it shoots out towards the sky. As it does, it seems like this substance of violet ignites, and now into a mixture of hues of violet and cyan, burning above Skadjefell. And it then begins to churn like a spiral in the sky. These flames, and condense into a bright flame spot. The light shining down, giving this bright violet light. This happens in this insane moment. I'm looking for where everyone's attention is. at this moment. Because it's not a time to do something necessarily, but just where your concern is.
Nala's concern is the 15s.
Brittany is
Torhilda's
concerned.
looking.
Good.
Torhilda's looking at the light.
Mhm.
I would be studying Ren and Varathex, the elder. Keeping my attention between those two.
Interesting.
I'm moving towards the skull, the source of the flame, to be close by should the flame change direction.
Mm.
Layla is primarily watching the flame in the sky, but kind of keeping eye towards the village as well.
And I'm seeing if I need to interpose myself between the flame and any of the 15s that I've just been put in charge of.
And Brynja closes her eyes and extends her senses her awareness as far as she can in every possible direction for the feel of the forest and the land, all the natural things around her, to try to understand, almost like radar, like what's about to change or what's changing. Sort of a sense of like, is our entire group in danger or what's about to happen next? So it's like this, preternatural sense of the forest to find out whether or not something is about to hit us.
Mm. There is a sense of all of the beasts, the water, the trees, the rocks being terrified. That comes to you, Brynja.
You hear her say out loud, "Oh, fuck, this is bigger."
Bolmunda and Nario, it's your focus in the flame. You see, there's a time when it starts to stop. Like the last bits of it, and you can see it, the end of it, leaving and shooting towards the Stott. On the tails of it, though, it's broken up oddly at first, you see. And both of you will give me perception with disadvantage to see if you can catch the problem. There's Inspo in chat, I believe.
I think there's one left.
Inspo's last one session that can't be carried over, right?
Correct.
Okay.
There were
Someone
7 in
wanna
total.
take it? Wait, who was making the checks?
Both Bermunder and
Yeah.
and Rinreal.
There were 7 inspos in total.
Can't stand that there's a W in your name. It's so funny because of the Norse. But it's fine. I'm just getting used to it.
Pretend it's English or Germanic.
27 on disadvantage.
Nice. Level 9. Oh, what does Bermunder get?
Muted, apparently. 10.
Okay. And okay. Then not at all. You I would say this. Bermuda, you see, it seems like a shooting swarm of insects. But right now, you recognize these as something entirely different. there is a flurry of arrows shooting from the mouth that are blocking out the light of the fire. And they're having a curvature aimed toward the procession.
Yeah, if I'm allowed to act, I'd try to interpose myself.
What do you want to do specifically? I mean, because this is gonna. When I say flurry, I mean this is like our arrows will blot out the sun. Type
Ooh. Sun blotting arrows. I don't have daylight to cast, unfortunately. How far?
So in other words, I'm trying to picture that this could be easily 600 arrows coming.
Yeah, but 600 arrows that are coming out of one mouth. If I can get two in front of it.
Okay, but remember how I said how big this thing was? I mean, depending on what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And you had stopped, so you were definitely at least 1,000 feet away.
Oh, okay. So we're still far.
That's why that choice was a little important.
Yeah.
It gives other interesting things. It's just in this particular one, that's what it does.
How big was the heart of this thing? Because I know you said it was like 100 pounds, but
about 5 feet.
But okay, so not enough to hide all the kids. I turn back and yell to the 15s. Get under the leather! Hold it above your heads!
Absolutely. Due to your quick notice and your roll before that has them under your command, it is without question. They begin to move immediately. Well, that's quick enough, we will see. Now, those of you staring at the fire, you kind of hear everyone moving, and you're hearing this at first, but you're not perceiving why there is this scare until you now see, and it's easier for you to tell that there is this slurry of projectiles now, that the flame has stopped, and there is this bright purple light in the sky, and that these are coming and blocking out its light.
Are the arrows coming from the light?
No, they're on an arc. And so they've come from the mouth.
The mouth of the dragon.
Yeah.
Can I see the mouth of the dragon?
You could turn to it.
What do I see?
This moment, I would say, because you can follow the lines of the arrows, you can sort of see, because it's 1,000 feet, it's not lit except by the violet light. So there's just, what you see is a torrent of black little lines coming in and causing you to, the violet light bouncing off the skull. It's like these little lines going, blocking the skull view. But give me a perception check, though.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Well, I could see perception check.
Uh-huh. That's a dirty 8. I rolled a 9 for a dirty 8.
Yeah, that's what you see.
Do I see anything coming out of the mouth?
So you kind of use your sight in this moment. What is like something else that you would want to think through, or anything else? You probably have an action. You probably have something you want to do here.
Yeah, Torhilda and I are
had
both
your
flummoxed.
perceiving moment, right?
Yeah, okay. Torhilda and I are both flummoxed. So I feel like in that moment, she would try to protect the rest of the village. So she would grab out her shield and try to protect them with her body as best she can. She doesn't have a lot of magic. She doesn't have a lot of that kind of stuff. But she would try to shield as many people as she could with her body and her shield, and maybe try to throw an eldritch blast at the source of the arrows. Or can she tell where the arrows? Can she tell the source of the arrows?
They're coming from inside the mouth. That's what you can.
From inside the mouth. She's going to throw an eldritch blast inside the mouth.
What's your range on your blast?
120, I think.
Okay, so you're too far away for that necessarily.
I'm too far away. Okay.
But if you're trying to do some interesting things here, laying down this cover fire. Okay.
Yeah, or just blast arrows out of the sky. This is where
I like it. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good. You just describe what you're looking to do, and I think
Okay.
that's we're going within the bounds.
She's just gonna start shooting stuff away and trying to shield everybody else.
Yeah. So I would say just give me a charisma roll.
Oh, that's a gift. Straight charisma.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty 20.
Okay. So your magic works very interesting because it is linked between you and Brunhilde. And so you're going to be able to give a partial shield with your Eldritch Blast here. You can describe how you feel like that works between the two of you.
Yeah, so yeah, bonus actions, Fonhilda comes out, help us, and she comes out like some number of feet away from me, a good 15, 30 feet away from me, and we Eldritch Blast towards each other, and the twin, and we're just like, obviously we're twins, and the magic, my fiery crimson magic and her pale rose gold magic intertwine and lock, and we try to create a barrier as best we can to shield everyone else.
All right. I will give you a devil's bargain. If you will give me a spell slot, I will allow this fully to go through.
Sure. Which spell slot do you want? I have single uses, and then I have my
one of your warlock spell slots.
My warlock, yeah, a 3rd level warlock. You want that one?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sure, yeah, take it. I marked it off. Yeah, take
Perfect. It. So these powers combine, creating this almost shield over the area. And as the arrows come close to see how this is going to impact and what will precisely happen, we will end for tonight.
You devil!
All right. Those watching, thank you so much. Hope you watch us play. I'm going offline with my players so we can discuss the night. But those of you tuned into Twitch, thank you so much. All the inspo is greatly appreciated. All the comments. And we'll see you hopefully next week.